Hi, Kim. For my final project focus, the organization that I'm going to focus on is, athletics as a whole. Um, Obviously, I am still currently a college athlete. I plan to continue in the athletic field. Once I am done with all of my school, I plan to go into coaching at the collegiate level and then hopefully work my way into administration at the collegiate level of athletics. So my focus will be on transgender in sport. This is particularly a very sensitive subject for track and field. Since the past Olympic Games, there were some questions with particular athletes with their whether they were born male or female, or whether their testosterone levels as a woman were technically just too high to compete against other women. So it's a very sensitive subject for track and field, and it has been for a while. This is particularly close to me because just 2 years ago at a national championship meet, in the final race, I competed against a transgender athlete, and this individual had lived their whole life as a male up until a year before this national championship meet. And for the NCAA, the policy at that time was if you do want to transition, you just have to be on that particular hormone for a year. So this individual had lived their whole life as a man, was somewhere between 20 and 22 years old, decided somewhere between that age that they wanted to identify as a woman, so they took the estrogen for a year and they were able to compete. What year was this? 2019. And just a little bit of background, this individual was already 6'4", had the build of a grown man, had an advantage on us female athletes in particular because this was a hurdle race, a 400 hurdle race, and the women's hurdles are a lower level, so they're shorter than the men's hurdles because women are generally shorter than men. But this individual had already grown into an adult as a man and then wanted to be a woman and was able to compete at that level. So it's a very sensitive subject, and they did win the event at the national championship meet. And I think this is an issue because this will result in scholarships being taken away from biologically born females. It will, hard-earned meet records or school records or national records will be taken down and ultimately taken over by transgender men. It'll take away the chance to be a champion, and at the collegiate level, that's all you that's what you train for. That's what you compete for, to win, to be a champion. And I think if it continues to go the way it has, and you just have to be on estrogen for a year and then you compete as a woman, or vice versa, but obviously it's a little more sensitive, going from a man to a woman. I think it's pretty obvious, who will win in these situations, who will break the record, who will win the race, who what have you. And this is very sensitive in track and field, but there have been instances in other sports where transgenders are allowed to play, and it's just unfair. And my proposal would be to take this to the NCAA level and then above. And I'm lucky enough to have a few connections just through college athletics with individuals who are in a place to hear proposals or hear ideas, and then send it to the bigger man, the higher ups. But my proposal would be to just create a league for transgender to compete versus other transgender. So men compete against men, women compete against women. Why not create a league for transgender to compete against transgender? And I feel like it's fair in my eyes. I know that they want to be treated as the gender that they identify as, that they're most comfortable identifying as. And I know that would be an arguing issue. But in terms of athletics, I don't think that can really apply. I think outside of athletics, there's no need for them to be treated any differently, just on a day-to-day, walking on the sidewalk kind of day-to-day. But in terms of competing against biologically born women or men, and them having the opportunity to ultimately take over a sport or what have you, it's just unfair. So that's my final project focus, and I hope that gives you enough information to understand where I plan to go with this. So looking forward to your feedback.